Hi and welcome back to Wargaming in a Cave and the next tutorial with regards to turning this into, hopefully you can see it over there, a terrain mat. Okay, so we left it last time that we put the first coat on this, and tonight we're going to do the second coat, and I'm also going to be putting the second coat onto what hopefully will be my roads. I'll talk about those a little more as we're going, because some have turned out okay, some have started to curl, so as the first lot I've done, so there's a bit of experimentation with them as we go. I'm just going to go and mix up the mixture, same as last time. We won't need as much on the second coat, so I'm just going to mix it up and I'll be right back. Should have added before I go, highly recommend this. This book is where I got the idea from the mat from. I've tinkered with the idea slightly, but really good. Good starting point. Okay, off to mix up the mixture. See you in a minute. Hi, and back on camera, here we are. Right, I've been mixing up the mixture, goop, call it what you like. I've been trying to think about proportions that I may have mentioned on the last one, as to how to mix it up. All I can say is in there are 2 bottles of cork and then PVA and then water, and what you're looking to get it to is like a chocolate cake mix, so that you could then just scoop it out. It's quite solid without being sloppy, but it still moves about. Hopefully that makes sense. And now time to apply it. Don't forget, this is exceptionally messy. I can't stress that enough as to how messy it is. I've got lots of sheets down, and as you can see, I'm not wearing my best gear. Probably what my wife would like me to see me in all the time when I'm doing anything wargaming related. But anyway, let's crack on. Right. So it's the same principle for the second coat, in that you're going to be putting it on and then rolling it out. The only difference is this time we're going to be sprinkling some sand on. Now, I just have builder's sand and a sieve, and I will literally just sieve it on. So let's make a start. Okay. If you weren't with me last time, this mat is only 2 foot wide because I've already made a mat that was 12 foot long. My table, I'm very lucky, is 14 feet long. So I needed just a 2 foot mat to go on the end. So that is why this one is not the largest. You would have seen, if you've seen my first video, it will tell you what sort of decorator's mat it is, I forget now. But since then, I've played quite a number of games on the original mat. I've found it to roll up really well. You would have seen that on the video. And I'll turn it round so you can see after I've done this bit. It does crack in places, but the good news is, if you've got some of this gunk left over, it's very easy to patch, and I will hopefully move the video camera around to show you how to patch an area later. What I'm doing is I'm putting the mixture on. You'll find the second coat goes on so much easier than the first. You don't need anywhere near as much the second time around. In fact, I've probably made up too much, but the good thing is about it is you can save it, put it in takeaway pots, or ice cream pots, and then use it for basing or patching. So here we go, we're just working. I'm just making sure I'm not going to get any on the floor, I don't want to get in trouble. Working in 2 foot patches, like so, and then taking our sieve, builder's sand, and literally just sieving on. Nothing more scientific than that. It doesn't matter really if it's in clumps, it's just to give it a little bit of texture, make it easier to dry brush, and brings it all together. It gives it that genuine land look about it, which is, well, terrain look about it, which is obviously what you want, given its purpose. So as you can see, just literally sprinkling it on, stopping the big stones from getting on, and working in 2 foot squares. I'll pause there. I'm going to do the other bit of here, and I'll move around to the other corner, and I'll move on to the roads. So I shall be back shortly. I'll just pause the camera. Right, I've come round to do this half now, and I'll leave the camera rolling so you'll be able to have a better idea about what I'm doing. So you can see I'm putting the mixture on, the gunk on, finding my roller, which I've managed to leave up here. Keep the roller over the table, you don't want it putting any of the gunk anywhere. And then hopefully you can see I'm rolling in random directions. What you don't want it looking like a bowling green. You want that nice au naturel look about it. So it's literally rolling. It's a foam roller. Just don't be too enthusiastic. You don't want splatter all over the place. Particularly if you're doing this in a family living area and you're not lucky enough to be in the shed or something, or the cave as I am, then you need to be really careful with the rolling, because the gunk can fly all over the place. And the one thing we war gamers all like are kitchen passes. Most important, otherwise we don't get to war game. So I'm just coming up to the edge, and just put a little bit on for the edge. Here, I don't want to mess the table up either. Right, okay. And oh, you can't quite see. Hopefully you can see now that I'm rolling on carefully along the edge, and then at the moment, after I've done this, I'll start sprinkling. If you'd like to put any comments or questions, then feel free to do so. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not, as I say, an expert on this. This is only the second mat I've made, but I can give you my my limited opinion on hopefully getting some pretty good results. Right, sprinkling the sand. As I said, we don't mind if it's too much in one place and concentrated, or too little. It's just to give it texture. And when we start dry brushing, it will help no end. There we go. Again, being really careful not to spill around the edges. You'll notice at the end of this bit is a bit rough and ready. That's because there's going to be the hangover off the edge of the table, so I've left a little bit of space to play with, so that we can go right to the end. And now I'm just going to do the other half, this little bit here. Yeah, I can see probably have made up too much mixture, but we'll carry on. As I say, it's easy to reuse it for other purposes. So again, rolling, try and do it in random directions. You'll see that I've got one of those other mats, I think I mentioned it last time, one of the other mats, another one underneath to stop anything coming through. I wouldn't recommend doing this on a dining room table. Since I have done the mats, the main mat, I've used it a couple of times, no, 3 times, and we found that we're able to put t-shirts or towels underneath it, and they make really realistic feels. It was more by chance that I discovered that, because I thought, well, when we played our first game after lockdown, I'll give it a go with t-shirts underneath, not expecting it to work particularly well, and I was in the process of sticking them underneath roughly where we needed them for the game, and one of my friends said, "Oh, those heels look fantastic." And it wasn't until I stood back and had a look that I thought, actually they do. It saved me having to make heels to sit on the top, which is a real bonus, and hopefully gives a pretty good look when it comes to mats to game on. Right, just going to sprinkle the sand. Okay, right. The last thing to do for the main mat at this stage is to take friendly plant sprayer and just hopefully not spray too much, but try and mist over it so the water soaks in. This is coming out more as a squirt rather than a mist, but that will suffice for now. Just to draw the sand into the mat to help it solidify and give it a little bit more strength. I think it's what it does, but it tends to work really well. I'll just do this bit. As you can see, just a light misting, not too much. There we go. Okay, right. I'll stop the camera there. Just want to get myself organised, and then we'll move on to roads. Okay, back with you. Right, let's see how we get on with roads. As you'll see, some of them have rather bent up, so I'm just going to fold them back and then put some more gunk on and give it another roll. Others have very obligingly stayed as they should do. The other thing I also need is an old pencil, an old paintbrush. This one's seen better days. And what I'm going to do is apply some gunk, roll it, and then put some tracks on, hopefully. Let's see how it goes. As I say, this is the first one I've done, and I'm not being live on camera to do it. So if it doesn't go quite according to plan, I can only apologise, but we'll see how we get on. Right, so mixture applied. Give it a roll. Now this time round, when I did the first cover, they were flicking up quite unhelpfully. Second time round, as you can see, it's playing ball much better. If I can get that to lie flat, like so, and then leave that there, and then just do the tracks. To give it that cart look. Which is a bit trickier than I thought. In fact, looks like the cart's a bit wonky at that point, but never mind. I'll leave it as it is. And carry on. I'll just demonstrate, see how we get on with the next one, because this one hasn't been quite so obliging in staying flat in that it's rolled. So let's apply our mixture. That's a little bit more this time than the last one. Since we've used it predominantly for Napoleonic games. On my channel you'll see some after action reports we've done, Mont Saint-Jean, Quatre Bras, and we are hopefully, everything being equal, doing Waterloo in a few weeks' time, and again we'll put an after action report up for that. Now it's, as you can see, it's being more compliant. It's still got that bend, but I reckon I can flatten that out in due course once it's dry. So I'm going to put the tracks in again. Probably not the best, but we'll give it that road look and see how they come out. What I'm not doing with the roads is I'm not putting any sand on them. Reason being is that the sand is mainly to give texture for dry brushing, and I don't want to have the sand go onto the main bit of the road because I want to think about how I'm going to have the edges of the road, so I need to be more precise with it. And I'll have a bit of a ponder about that. And I don't think the roads are in as much dire need of it as the mats are. So I will leave it there, carry on with the roads, see you shortly. Bring you back in, just doing a couple of the corners, just by way of update. I think the roads actually are coming together really quite nicely. Hopefully you can see, they might all look a bit of a brown mass at the moment. I just need to get that around the right way. But, they are saying, and they're not rolling around after the second coat, as you can see. I'm adding the tracks with the back end of an old paintbrush. I've been trying to think of a way of doing tank tracks, but I haven't cracked that one yet. Some bits of road have not worked. That's just when I put the first coat on. I don't really think that one's savable. So that one, I mean, it's cheap as chips. It's not the end of the world. That one can go in the bin. Some bits I can save, and most bits I will. But some just aren't worth the effort. So I'll just do this little bit. Show you how I'm doing the roads. Again, I'll just cut these out of the decorator's sheet. Cut out random shapes or working to a road system in my head, which is pretty much random, really. And as you can see, they're coming together quite nicely. As I said, I won't be putting any builder sand on the roads. I'm just going to go around and finish the roads on the other side, and then I'm going to have a quick go at patching. Back with you shortly. Okay, right, as you can see, the finish mat has developed a crack, and what I'm going to try and do, and again this is something I've not done before, is I'm going to try and patch it. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add a little bit of mixture, not a great deal, and then just treat it in exactly the same way. I'm going to do this with a, I was going to use a spatula, but I'll use my trusty roller to see if I can get the same effects. The problem is, of course, I'm going to be taking the flock off, which is the one thing I'm not really trying to achieve. I'm just trying to cover over that. No, I'm going to try with a spatula. Right, let's see what happens. Hopefully the spatula, because I keep it all wrapped in plastic from one session to another, still got some gunk on it. So, okay, with a spatula, really not too much, just a little. And I'll stretch the mat out and then try and patch it. Just literally over the top. We'll take off obviously bits of the flock, which is one of those things, occupational hazard. I've got plenty of flock, so it's not the end of the world. I'm trying to cover up the join in the battlefield, because occasionally I've noticed these little cracks appearing, which seems to be the only downside of working on with these mats. So I'll just do this, and then I will give you an update when I do the next part. The next part for the continuation of the mat will be, if I remember rightly, dry brushing. I think it's the next stage, and we're making good progress. I'm hoping that will be sometime sooner than it's taken me to do this one, because it's such a messy pastime, this bit. I have to wait for the right opportunity to have time to get messy and then tidy up afterwards. The problem with this crack is covering it. I was hoping it's going to be a bit like using polyfiller, and that the crack would disappear. Just covering it. And the other one thing obviously I'm not going to be doing is rolling it anytime soon. Not this bit anyway. And what I might have to do is be brave and use my glove covered finger just to get it exactly where I want it, because the idea is to make the crack disappear. That's better. I'm again quite fortunate in that my mat won't need to be, once it's finished, rolled up very often. But if you need to roll yours up, obviously we need to get this bit right, and learning how to patch. So hopefully you can see that. I'll come back to this in the next video and give you an update. That's pretty much it for tonight's session. As I said, the next one should hopefully be uptime a bit sooner than it's taken to do this one. I hope you're enjoying it. Any feedback, please, in the comments below. You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook, where hopefully you've seen the link from. Anyway, nice to see you. Take care. Bye.